Welcome to this chair yoga class. Let's get started. Find a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall. Roll your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. We want to be sitting with our shoulders over our hips, our legs parallel, our feet parallel, heels under our knees, ears balanced over our shoulders. Close the eyes or look downcast. If you want more grounding, the palms are down. If you want more inspiration, the palms are up. Become aware of your environment, sense the world around you in your room or wherever you are at this moment. And bring your awareness to your body and the shape it's making in the chair today. Notice the energy that you're bringing to class today. Are you feeling alert and energetic or tired and sluggish? Notice the emotions that are showing up for you today. Let them move through you without judgment, without attachment or aversion. Beneath all the activity of our lives, there is an infinite ocean of silence and potential. Allow an intention to form for today's practice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, scoot forward on your chair. We'll sit up nice and tall. We'll just do some rounding back, rocking back. And inhaling, rocking forward, lifting the chest. So rocking to our breath. And the interesting thing about balance is that life is always in motion. So I used to think you could somehow do something to make life perfect and just keep it there, but you can't. It's always moving, it's always changing. And it's the nature of life to move out of balance and back into balance. So you can't go out of balance too far. Going out of balance too far, the only option is coming back into balance or death. So most of the time we're still here, so our lives are bringing us back into balance. So in a sense, you don't have to worry because the nature of life is going to urge you to come back to a state of balance if you do something that gets you out of balance. So here we're rocking back and forth, moving through that middle state of balance. Back to center, we'll do the same thing side to side. So we're going to reach out and come back to that state of balance. Reaching out, coming back to balance. So if lots going on in your life and you feel out of balance, there are things you can do to bring yourself back to balance. And practicing yoga is certainly one of them. And you'll get out of balance again because that's the nature of life. Life is an ebb and a flow. So we move out of balance and then we're pulled back to center. And then some new impulse of life pulls us out of balance. And then we come back to center. And the other interesting thing about balance, you can see as we go to one side, we don't stop there. We go to the other, moving through that point of balance. And in yoga, we always do things on both sides to create that balance. And back to center and take that in. So another way that we create balance in yoga is by crossing the midline. So we're integrating the right and left sides of our brain, helping to bring balance to our personality and to our physical functioning. So we'll do a little infinity sign. And to create balance, we'll go in the opposite direction. Back to center, sit up nice and tall. Let the ear drop towards our shoulder. Other shoulder relax down. Inhale up and let the ear come to the other side. Inhale up, ear to the first side. If you want more, press your opposite hand away, shoulder height, fingertips up. And fingertips down. And come back to center. Inhale tall, ear to shoulder. Press your hand away, shoulders down, fingers up. And fingers down. And back to center. Inhale tall, let's rotate the head and look over the shoulder. And back to center. And rotate, look the other way. And back to center. One more time. And stay with this or bring your hands to your heart. Let's inhale and rotate. So we're adding down the shoulders and the rib cage. And back to center, back to balance. And the other way. You can stay with that or push your hands in one direction, shoulders with your hands and head in the opposite direction. And then come back to center and rotate in the opposite direction. we'll make soft fists and we'll just roll our wrists around each other. And then circle back the other way. And then we're going to open our arms out and stir two big pots. And circle back the other way. And then we'll bring our one shoulder and circle. And we'll circle back the other way. And rest. Oh, feel the difference in the two shoulders. Let's create some balance by circling the other shoulder. And circle back. And rest. And we'll do some simple circling. So this is a different analogy. It's not exactly the same as balance, but one way to find balance is to find the center point in the midst of activity. So a top, when it's spinning, there's that part of it that's still, the eye of the hurricane. If we can find that center point in the midst of the chaos or change that we're experiencing, that's another way to find balance. Instead of being carried away by the storms of change. And let's stop and go the other way. Stop sooner if you're getting dizzy. So here we are, the sitting bones and the tailbone are the still point, and we're circling around the base of our spine. We're going to do something different in a minute. So I want you to be aware of what we're doing here. And let's come to stillness for a minute. So in that centering, the head was making the biggest circle. Now we're going to do our rib cage. The rib cage is going to make the biggest circle. So imagine your ribs are inside a barrel and you want to touch all of the barrel. So bringing the ribs forward, side, back. There's a little belly dance move. So trying to make the ribs the largest circling part of your body. And we'll circle back the other way. It's really nice opening up our lungs, stretching our intercostal muscles, deepening our capacity for breath. And let's come back to stillness. Let's warm up our legs. So sitting on the front of our chair with our knees nice and wide, we're going to windshield wiper the knees. And come back to stillness. Now, if you can, you're going to reach back and bring your elbows onto the chair, your forearms onto the chair. Can everybody do that? If not, you just have to sit up with your hands on the chair. But I think, you know, unless you have a physical limitation, should be able to do that. Okay, and then scoot yourself forward a little bit so that your hips are off the chair. A little bit of a strengthening exercise here. If you want a little balance, pick up one heel. So you're balancing on one foot and one toe. Come on down, pick up the other heel. And down. And bring your hands to the chair and bring yourself back up. So having flexible ankles helps us with our balance. So let's do that rocking, lifting the toes, lifting the heels, rocking back and forth on our feet. Feel that lovely stretch in the front of your ankles. I always find that so nourishing because we spend so much time with our feet at right angles. Stretch those muscles in front, those tendons. Two more. And now let's roll over onto the, let's do it this way, roll over onto the outside of your feet and roll over onto the arch side of your feet. Roll over onto the outside of your feet and roll over onto the arch side of your feet. Your knees are moving side to side, but that's not the main focus today. We're just working on the flexibility in our ankles to help our balance. So we're getting two for the price of one here. We're getting ankles and hips. Two more. Good, and come back to center, take a breath. So we're going to go to sit to stance in just a minute. I want to remind you of a yoga secret to help your balance, and that is to find the spot on your upper palate that's balanced, that's midway between that ridge that runs front to back in the upper palate and the front teeth. So there's a little bit of skin there. And you want to put the tip of your tongue on that little ridge of skin there. And you're pressing up into your brain, waking up your master glands and energetically connecting up the front and back meridian, the central and governing meridian. And this should help your balance. So we'll try that as well. So tongue to the top of the mouth, just a little behind the teeth. Let's do 7 sit-to stands. You can have your hands like this, or for more challenge, have them out. Wriggle the shoulder blades down. Draw your belly in. Check your legs that they're parallel, knees over your heels. So again, anything like that or like that is not good. You want to be nice and aligned. That helps your balance as you inhale. Coming up. Exhale. Nice and slow, sitting down. I forgot to count, so this is 4 or 5, whatever. We'll do 2 more. And up we go. Very nice. And come to stand behind your chair in Tadasana. So this is really good for your balance, having that alignment. And we're just going to do a few sun-shining breaths here, inhaling up and exhaling down. And find your drishti, something to look at that's right in front of you, soft gaze. As you inhale, feel your feet pressing into the floor, growing roots. As you exhale, feel yourself lifting up through the top of your head like a rocket ship. Last one. All right, so the first balancing posture we're going to do, I want you to be next to the back of your chair. I took my shoes off for the seated poses. Give me a second here. Okay. So you're going to be next to the back of your chair. In other words, you'll be over here. I'll be in front. With your hand on the back of your chair and one foot at the edge of your chair, the other foot right in front. Find your drishti. And if it feels safe, bring the other foot in front. You can move your hand forward on the chair. So it's like you're a tightrope walker. And step forward. Tightrope back. Bringing one foot behind you. Sliding your hand along the chair, bringing the other foot behind you. Can we do that again? Bringing one foot in front. And then the other. And one foot back. And then the other. Remember which foot was in front. Bring your feet back together and change feet on the tightrope. Tongue against the roof of your mouth. Inhale tall, find your drishti. You're not looking down at your feet. That's another important thing for balance. Not looking at your feet, but looking at where you want to go. Bring the other foot in front. And bring the other foot behind you. And back. And come back to Tadasana. Good job. Let's bring one foot in front of the other once again. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Find your drishti. And if it feels safe to you, rock forward, picking one heel off the floor. Inhale, rock back, lifting your toes, front toes up off the floor. Rock forward, lift your back heel. Rock forward, lift your front toes. Again, keep the feet completely on the floor if this doesn't feel safe. Remember which foot was in front. Come back to Tadasana. Change feet on the tightrope. When you're ready, rock forward on your front foot, lift your back heel. Rock back on your back foot, lift your front toes. Lift the front ball, resting on the front heel. Rock forward, lift the back heel, resting on the front foot and the back toes. Rock back and lift the front foot up, resting on the front heel and the back toes. And come back to Tadasana. I'm going to face you, but you stay where you are if you like. I'm going to tightrope walk once again. So let's bring one foot in front of the other. And the reason you're staying where you are is because you're still holding onto the chair, perhaps. Or if you feel safe, find your drishti and balance here. It's really hard. And come back to Tadasana. Good work. And bring the other foot in front on the tightrope, holding on with one hand if you need to, finding your drishti and balancing on your tightrope here. And release. Shake it out if you need to. Good job. We're going to do two variations of balancing on one foot. So again, you can hold on to the side of your chair. Let's start with stork pose. Find the Tadasana, shifting the weight to your left foot. Pick up your right heel or pick up your right foot at a right angle. Add an arm or two arms, whatever is best for you. Or you're holding on with both hands. So you're finding your drishti, reaching down into the standing leg and stretching up tall, tongue against the roof of your mouth. And down. And then we're going to bring the knees together and just lift that back heel and balance here. And I like to bring the arm in front for this one. And let's bring that foot down, shake it out if you need to. I'm going to go the other way. So we'll start with stork pose, lifting the heel. Stay here or lift the knee. One or two arms. Find your drishti, tongue against the roof of your mouth. reaching down into the earth and stretching up tall. Asana. And pick up your foot, keeping the knees together. And down, shake it out. Our last balancing series is crossing the midline if you can. So I'm gonna start with a little bend in the knees, like chair pose. Let's shift our weight over and pick up our left heel, and maybe you're balancing here, or crossing your knees with the toes on the floor and balancing here, or picking that foot up and balancing with the foot in the air, foot flexed. If you don't need your arms, you can bring one arm up overhead. Actually, that arm's pointing to the knee that's lifted, and the other arm is up overhead. So you could be holding that on, obviously, with one hand or both, or not. Dancing Shiva. And down. Back to Tadasana. Bend your knees slightly like chair pose, holding on. Lifting your opposite heel. This could be your balancing pose. Or crossing the legs, toes on the floor, or flexing the foot and bringing the leg across. And one arm up overhead, the other hand pointing down at your knee. And the other thing I forgot to say was keep your mind focused. I was starting to think about something else and it caused wobbling in my body. So balance includes staying centered with your thoughts, being present with what you're doing. As your mind wanders, your balance wanders. And you know that in your life, if you're not present in your life, you start to worry or obsess about the past or the future, you become out of balance. So coming back to the present, being with your body and what you're doing at the moment is another way to stay balanced. Good job. Let's come sit back down in our chairs. Let's take a moment here. We're going to end with some forward folds. So scooting to the front of your chair, starting in your seated mountain pose. Let's send the right leg out with the toes up. Leg is straight. You can bring your hands to your left leg or slide them down, as long as you're not pressing against your knee on the right side. So coming down, stretching out. or resting hand here. Feel your back relax, the back of your legs stretch, toes pointed up towards your head. Inhale up. Let's stretch both legs out. Inhale tall and exhale slide down. Again, if this is too much, stay with Janu Sirsasana, one-legged forward fold. Otherwise, we'll do Paschimottanasana, two-legged forward fold. Inhale back up. We're going to cross the left leg over the right with the knee dropping down to the side. Inhale tall and come forward with a straight back, supporting with your core. Feel a stretch inside the thigh, stretch in the back of the thigh. Long spine here rather than a rounded forward fold. Remember, you can just stay with you can just stay with Janu Sirsasana in the first pose. We're building, so. And uncross, and again, you can stay with that one or bringing the legs back to seated mountain. If you have the flexibility, this foot comes up and crosses over. Inhale tall, and you're not going to go far very forward before you feel that in your lower back. Draw the belly in, drop this knee as much as you can, and come forward with a long straight spine. Inhale, release. Shake those legs out. And we'll do the other side. So we're starting with seated mountain pose. Left leg comes out with the heel on the floor, the toes pointed up. Inhale tall. And again, you're not going to press onto your knee, so hands can be up on your thigh or down on your shin or on your other thigh. And this one you can round over the leg if you like. Inhale up, bring that leg back. So again, you can just stop with the first one or stretching both legs out, heels on the floor, toes up. Inhale tall, slide down, and allow yourself to let gravity pull you over your legs. Surrender. Inhale, slide yourself back up. Cross your right leg over your left with the knee out to the side. Inhale tall, come forward with a straight back. Draw the belly in, shoulders down, spine long. You can still have your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Inhale back up. Uncross your legs, walk your feet back in. So you can stay with any of those variations, or the next level is bringing your heel up onto your knee and floating your knee down. Inhale tall and coming forward with a straight back. And again, you're not going to go very far before you start to feel that pull in your lower back. This knee is dropped as much as possible. Might feel a pull on the inner thigh. Inhale up. Uncross your legs. Check out what you need to. And if you need anything for Shavasana, because it's cold in here, come back into your chair, close your eyes, and we'll take in the benefits of today's practice, letting our body wisdom absorb the lessons of today's class. can stay here as long as you like. And when you're ready, slowly bring some movement back into your fingers and toes. Gently move and stretch in whatever way feels good to you. And bring your hands together and rub them briskly, building up healing energy. And cup the hands over the eyes, bringing that healing energy into your eyes and brain. Release the hands. Come back into the room. Namaste.